together. It's great to stay up late. Good morning to you and you and you and you and you and you and you. Good morning, it's great to stay up late. Good morning to you and you and you and you and you and you and you. Ooh. If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, never make a pretty woman your wife. La 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 la. Ooh!
I'll just do this because it's been annoying me. No, come here. Come here, what is that?
Mark, stop it!
No, there is, you've got something there. You've got...
Ah! I hate you! That's my bad thumb. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Coffee Moaning. If you're new to the channel, we're here 6 days a week, sharing with you our thoughts on what's going on in the world.
Are you trying to tell me that you want my bell end?
No, don't, Mark. Put it down. Put it down. I mean it. Put it down. And sorry, we're a bit late today. We had an elongated Zoom. It went over. How are all of you?
Susie France, make a note.
Susie France. I don't have a pen and I've got an arthritic thumb. You'll have to do it. So today we are going to be talking about NIKSEN, the art of doing nothing. We're going to talk about Princess Diana calling Trump an anal fisher. I think mostly the reason we're going to talk about that is we wanted in the title, Princess Diana calls Trump an anal fisher. And we're going to talk about the storm. And it is actually a storm around Gwyneth Paltrow's dieting advice, wellness advice. In fact, it's quite a story actually. And in fact, our friend Jordan, who now lives in LA, we've got a friend in Jordan. Jordan, I hope you're watching this. Texted me yesterday and said, waiting to see what's going to happen with you and Gwyneth. So we thought, God, we've not spoken about it. We really should.
So is she talking about vaginal smelling candles?
No vaginas.
Vaginal gummies, bears, or...
She's not gummy bears.
No?
She's Kardashians are gummy bears.
You know, apparently she's introduced the penis sweatband, which apparently you put around your head and it makes you smell like a knobhead.
Don't believe... First of all, if you're new here, don't believe anything he ever says.
It's the penis sweatband.
It's very silly.
They want it to smell of penis.
It's National Curly Hair Day today.
Fucking hell, is it?
Tina just texted me.
So annoying.
Tina just texted me and said, "Oh, darling, stop bashing my face around. I mean it. Stop it. It's annoying. You keep wiping off my makeup."
You're so weird looking.
God, he's so... This is all because he got shamed on Instagram. Again. Has anyone noticed his hunky jumper?
Yeah, so hot.
Happy curly hair day to any curly
Claire
hairers.
LC, happy curly hair day, Nads. What's it like? Okay, let's ask you some questions. What's it like? What are the benefits of curly hair?
Well, through my life, being a Scorpio and having curly hair, those two things have always got me a certain amount of attention from men.
And being a Scorpion. How do they know you're a Scorpion?
We wanted to talk about this in more depth the other day on this one, but we didn't have time. We were talking about star signs, and we were saying actually the producer said the 4 women. And we didn't have time to do it. It was so annoying, but he said he couldn't believe how the traits fitted exactly all the 4 women that were on.
Right.
Pisces, Scorpio, whatever. But anyway, I was going to be saying that being a Scorpio, when I was younger, you know, you would say to a bloke that you were a Scorpio and it would be all... And, you know, so when you're always faced with that, you know, as a young girl, you're going, oh, you don't really know what you're oohing and ahhing about.
Well, what are we in and ahhing about? What?
You know.
What?
Well, that Scorpios have got a reputation for being passionate lovers. Yeah, like in a bit of How Your Father. That was the thing, and that was a boy thing. And then curly hair... Like, you were the first person I was ever with that didn't really like curly hair.
Oh, I was the first person you were with that was a Scorpio.
Yeah, that's true. And didn't like curly hair.
I never said I didn't like
You
curly
called it
hair.
frizzy.
Hang on a minute. And I said to you in one of our in one of our How to Stay Marrieds recently, you said to me, why did you think I was a goer about you? And you've just said everyone thought you were a goer because of your curly hair and your Scorpio. So why was it a surprise? Which is true.
He did say that. Listen
And
to
why
our
were you
podcast.
why were you shocked and surprised?
Kaz said to me, I can't believe that podcast the other day. Did Mark really look directly at your vagina? And I said, yes.
But how can you have been surprised by me saying that if you're now sort of saying that every man you've ever met in your life thought
Because that's only just occurred to me.
Oh, right, okay.
So, yeah, being a Scorpio, are there any other
Then the
Scorpio
stories.
women here
Yeah, someone's a curly-haired Scorpio somewhere.
that would say, oh, boys would go, oh, you're a Scorpio. And I would go, yeah, I am. But I didn't really know why.
Really?
No, because it was like I wasn't when that was first said to me, I wasn't even sexually active. So I was just like, I knew there was something going on and I had to do my shoulders, but I didn't really know what.
But can I be honest about that? I think men have a certain way of steering the astrological chart, whatever you are, towards something. Oh, you're a Gemini, you're a twin. Twins, threesomes.
Oh, really? Have you done that?
You're a, which is the goat? Aries, bit horny.
Oh, my.
Cancer.
God, I'm looking into your past and it's not pretty.
I never did it.
You did. How are these popping straight to your head?
Pisces. Fish.
Leo. Lion.
I know that, but the girls, when I did that last, they said they got the ick.
Yeah, it was pretty icky.
So was that.
Because you did it a bit.
Do you not think you give the ick? You do give the ick.
Of course, everybody gives the ick.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of thing an icky guy who's going to chat somebody up by the star sign would do. They'd go, Leo. So I was, in fact, trying to be ick.
See, even Capricorn, there's a sort of hippiness, isn't there, to the Capricorn idea? Sort of, if you're... What is Capricorn? What is the
Matt is
animal?
Capricorn.
What is the animal? Is it a creature? What is Capricorn?
What
What is a Capricorn? Sagittarius, what are they? Aquarius.
Now,
Age of Aquarius.
I'm going to be honest, for
Age
years,
hippie,
I found
orgies.
it very difficult when somebody would tell me they were a Sagittarius woman. I had so many clashes. Now, it was never that the Sagittarius woman was wrong, but we just never met. Every Sagittarius woman I met was sort of matched to my alpha female thing. So it would be like a clashing of horns almost.
Aaron Bullimore. A Capricorn is a fish-tailed goat. You can
course
see
it
the
is.
obvious sexual analogies there. A fish-tailed goat. A fish-tailed goat, is it really?
Virgo, she's the Virgo, Venus
Virgin.
of love, the
Virgin.
Venus of love.
Virgo. Are you a virgin?
Oh, yeah.
See, I mean, everyone, So Scorpio, I mean, basically, when you get to Scorpio, it's just like you go like an absolute steam train.
That's what it was. I mean, did anyone else growing up as a Scorpio get that from me?
Dear heart, Sagittarian the Archer, are you going to fire your arrow?
Oh, well,
See?
Oh, I'm going to fire my arrow at you later.
No. Is an arrow, are we going to be struck by love?
Oh,
Cupid, I'm not fire what arrow, darling? What arrow are you firing? How have we got onto the way in which astrological signs
you know
can be turned
why?
into
Because the
sexual
news
innuendo?
bored us to tears today. Jesus, it is boring out there. It's the classic old. We have the budget, and then the next day we have the
bored
kicking of the
shitless.
budget.
You're a water sign, Nadia, Elaine Denning's saying.
Still pointless conversations about the refugee crisis with no real, solid, humane way of dealing with it. Strikes, we've done those to death.
Right, none of us are disrespected. You don't have to run through it.
So, no,
all.
this is what the world has reduced us to for a moment, is a little escapism into the nonsense
I
that
quite
is.
like this idea of twisting every astrological sign towards some kind of chat-up line.
I like that. So, come on, give us some chat up
Which
lines.
other ones haven't we done? Pisces is just a fish, isn't it?
Oh, I bet you'd like to swim in my waters.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Do you want to take a swim in my waters?
Libra.
I go all like I'm in EastEnders when I do it.
That's weird. Libra. Oh, yeah, balance. Balance in a relationship. Are you well balanced? You're unbalanced. Let's do weird things.
Okay, I don't think that's going to work. Nobody's
trying-
going to
I'm trying
say
to
call
think
us a
getting
cab from that.
You're unbalanced.
No.
Find your balance.
Get off Libra. You are not. Jump on
Can I
my
balance
scale.
you on my scales?
Jump on my scales.
Gemini. How many of us are going to bed tonight? Well, the
Oh, God,
cancer.
that's a
Cancer.
crab.
Oh, have you got crabs?
No, you
Are
can't.
you itchy?
No, Mark, that's not a chat up line. You've got to try harder to say something charming.
Examine my...
Laurel Nichols, we're Libra and we're not swingers. Oh, is that what you get?
Oh,
Swingers.
clever.
Oh, Libra, yeah. Bit of a swinger. Up and down.
Oh. Fucking hell, why have we gone like a fruit and veg stall?
I don't know.
Someone just said Taurus. Like a ram.
Act out a Taurus.
A Taurus
A
doing
Taurus
what?
at a bar, chatting me up. Be a Tory. A Taurian man. No, stop now. That hurt.
No. And then you'd look like that and you'd go, you've given me the horn.
We were talking about this
Get it,
this
the
when we
horn.
said,
The
do you remember
horn.
the horn? I've got it. It wasn't funny enough. Do you remember the big book of love signs? And you'd fancy someone, and then you'd be looking through the love signs to find something in there that would say that you two are absolutely perfect for each other. Did anyone do that?
What are you talking about?
We are watching Married First Sight Australia, and we are obsessed.
This isn't a catch-all for all, because we know
We even
some
watched
great
it,
Leos, but I find Leos are really, really out there.
Well, I quite like Leo men. They're very like, they roll around quite a lot. They want meat. They
What?
lazy. I like how much they are like a lion. They wait around for
They're
someone
lazy.
to give them food.
They sound hideous.
But then when they rise up, they are very much like they're very, what's the word? Not confident.
So you'd
They're
prefer to be with a Leo than a
No,
Scorpio?
did I say that?
So what, you're
Wait,
talking,
did anyone hear me
your
say I would
attributes-
prefer...
Your attributes of a Leo, they lay around and eat meat.
No, I like... They entertain me in the way that they're so like a lion. That's what I should have said.
All right.
They
lie
wait under the
around and
tree
eat
for the woman
meat.
to come home and bring them food.
They sound horrible. They sound absolutely horrible. I must admit, Leo men I find absolute wankers.
I've got some family members who are Leos, and I like them. They're playful, and even when they're young boys, they play like little lion cubs.
I like Leo women.
What do you like about Leo women?
Well,
Are
'cause-
you saying you'd prefer to be with a
Well,
Leo woman?
Yes.
What do you like about Leo women?
They're just larger than life. They play with you. They paw at you. They kind of, you're like a mouse in their, they just,
She's basically describing me.
fuck off. We dance,
don't say fuck off,
we
that's
dance
horrible.
around,
Don't take it back.
we dance around each other with our tails out. I can't believe
I said that on Loose
I
Women.
can't believe you like
I said
Leo men.
I said on our wedding day, a friend of mine said to me, well, what are you going to do? Just sit around stinging each other with your tails? And I remember thinking, fuck, actually, is it wise that I'm marrying a Scorpio?
You've been out with Leo men, so do you prefer Leo, which is preferable? The Leo man who lies under a tree waiting for meat, or the Scorpion
Have I been out with a Leo man?
trying to stab you?
I don't think I've been out with a Leo man.
Or how would you
I've never
characterise
been
a
out with anyone.
Scorpion man?
Well, you.
I remember, yeah.
And I love you. So
I remember
that's
at school you would, you've just reminded me, you would get those books where it would say you're compatible with.
good. Yeah, love. It was just called The Love Signs.
And isn't
Big
it,
blue book.
Yeah, and isn't it weird how that really sticks with you to now, with one? Because I now think, I've always thought that Scorpios and Scorpios and Taurians don't go well. And I have
Let's
first-hand
order
experience
the
of
Love
that.
Signs book, and we can do some every so often. With
But
people
someone's
here.
just saying there's a guy all right, I'm going to do a poll. Does someone being into star signs,
First Sight Australia, this guy has literally, he got the ick because the woman that he just married
it says ice, but it's meant to say ick.
asked him his star sign. Now, my question to that is, if you are so sensitive about something so small, why on earth would you marry someone on first sight?
Quite a few men are sensitive about something that's that small, though.
Leo here with curly hair. Okay, Julie, have you found that men through life go, oh, Scorpio, better a bit
She's
wild
a
in the
Leo.
sheets? Oh,
She said Leo with curly hair.
oh, sorry.
No, she won't have found anyone say that to her.
Have you had somebody say, do you like to lie around under a tree and wait for meat
Are there
to
any
arrive?
Leos here who wait under trees for meat to be brought for them? I can think of one Leo, actually, woman that we know, who's
But
very
they can be,
cat-like.
but then they can be very entertaining and vivacious. I'm going to write down who I'm thinking of here. A real mixture. Both.
You know, one of them's an arse.
No, but can be incredibly vivacious and entertaining. Do you know what I mean?
No, I see it as a con.
Oh, right. There are Leos here, Mark.
No. I'm not talking about anyone here. I'm talking about the person you've specified. It's a front. So Anita Burke. Sorry, sweetheart. The year today.
Oh, sending you so much love. Those anniversaries are so tough, aren't they? Yeah. Send you a big hug.
A Frog says, I think if a man was overly into star signs, it would ruin their dating. It would give me the ick.
Overly?
Yeah.
Yes. But all she did was say, what's your star sign?
Yeah.
And he went,
He was a bit extreme, because everyone asks what your star sign is at some point. And Maya says, I wouldn't mind laying under a tree waiting for a charcuterie board.
It is.
I like your style.
This Married First Sight Australia is the most extraordinary example of a commitment phobic. It really is, and and he's married a complete non-commitment phobic, and it's just so fascinating to watch. Because I think usually commitment phobes end up with commitment phobes, because commitment phobes choose commitment phobes, so they don't have to commit.
Right. Marjorie Dudon. Are there any Geminis out there? I'm not hearing from the Geminis.
My mum's a Gemini and so is Mark's mum.
So is my mum.
It's weird, isn't it? We're both Scorpios and both our mums are Geminis.
That's weird. You know, I'm Scorpio with Scorpio rising.
Yeah, we're just about as Scorpio as you can get.
I've got Scorpio
But we've spent
rising.
our whole marriage just assuming that two Scorpios should never be together. And then recently we found out that two Scorpios are a great match. So we've both got ADHD and we're both Scorpios. You would think on paper there's no way that can work, wouldn't you?
Maybe you'll get bipolar one day and we'll be the full set. God. Great,
he's got bipolar, by the way. He's not taking the piss out of bipolar. In fact, guys, we did a really intense, very moving. I found it watching Mark talk to this amazing interviewer for World Bipolar Day, all about bipolar, and that's on the 30th. So if you want to follow bipolar_UK, I think they're called. They'll be playing out our chat. It was really good.
Well, Anita Burke, feeling the love. Well, there you go. That's coffee moaning, guys. It kind of is, I'm afraid. So NIKSEN.
NIKSEN. How would you say that in a Dutch? Because it's a Dutch word.
Not the American president. NIKSEN.
Say it like you would say NIKSEN. Is anyone Dutch here? So basically, NIKSEN.
I tried NIKSEN. NIKSEN.
Do you know how anyone that comes here regularly, I talk about the fact that our CBT counsellor that we had years ago introduced me to this idea of dolce far niente, the sweetness of doing nothing. And she was talking about how she really believes there's a connection to the Mediterranean countries and why they live so much longer, because there is no guilt attached to the sweetness of doing nothing. And I've always been fascinated by that and completely unable to do it. And today this article popped up, and it's around the Dutch art of doing nothing, NIKSEN, which in Dutch literally means nothing. And it's this woman talking. She has 3 young kids, and she said that she put into practice this method of NIKSEN, and it has completely changed her life. And it's not about doing nothing, i.e. just sitting, thinking about your emails or doing a shopping list, which is what she said, the trap that she fell into every time she tried to stop was after about a minute, she was like thinking. And it talks about this article about how we've lost the art of boredom, how everything we need to know what the answer is straight away, another sort of horror of the phone, isn't it? And that we don't ponder over stuff and we don't just stare out of a window and think of nothing. And this woman has had all kinds of amazing benefits from like putting this into practice. And it's just, I felt it was really relevant because Mark and I have been talking a lot about this and about how we don't ever have a lazy Sunday. We never have a lazy Sunday where we just do nothing, where we read the papers, where we might, stare out the window. Even going for a walk is about, right, we must take the dogs for a walk. Did we take the dogs for a walk yesterday? And everything has to have a purpose. And it talks about how we have such a fear of doing nothing because people will think we're lazy. And I know we've spoken about this over the years here, haven't we, guys? But I think it's always a good conversation to have again. And
Are we talking about daydreaming?
um,
Or is,
yes,
or is it about trying
that's
to...
part of it.
I tell you one of the things I have a real problem with, like meditation.
No, but it says even meditation and
meditation,
mindfulness
yoga,
is still doing
yeah,
something.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
One of the things I get really intimidated by, and this ends up stressing me out when I try to do any of these things, is I feel there's real pressure to empty your head,
Yes.
and I can't.
But that's what they're talking about.
And then I panic.
Can you just get the article?
And
They
then
actually do talk about this in the article, and they said, okay, this isn't about mindfulness or meditation. This isn't about, because even that, mindfulness is a very active thing, actually. You know, you've got to, it says here you have to put thoughts on a balloon, let the balloon fly away. You know, it's quite, anyone who thinks mindfulness is just about sitting down and relaxing and emptying your brain, it's not. It's an active thing, you know, and being constantly contactable and feeling as though we always need to be doing something, even if we weren't really doing something. This is what this woman is saying. You know, ends in people being diagnosed with hypertension and high blood pressure and all these things. And I've read a few articles about this today, and the amount of people that have brought their blood pressure, like, right down, Mark. See, the thing is, I was desperate for him to read this article, and he didn't read it. Yes, he was busy this morning, but he also won't read it.
I will.
Because you are the personification, we are the personification of what this talks about.
Hypertension.
You haven't even listened to me.
I was involved in something.
I know.
Okay.
You just wanted to run to saying, I can't do mindfulness, which this is absolutely not about.
But it's incredibly, because of the life we all lead, everyone leads it. Does anyone else find it stressful to relax?
I need that article.
I know, I keep pulling it up, babe.
Because you keep saying the complete antithesis. So you keep saying to relax, to do mindfulness. This isn't what it's about. Just take the idea of when you're a child.
Yeah.
And we lose that ability because people say snap out of it, to just sit. So even with mindfulness, if negative thoughts come in, you're supposed to put them on a balloon and send them off.
Can't do it.
No. So, right, let's try 1 minute.
Can't, no.
We're going to try 1 minute. Mark, set a timer for 1 minute. Right, hang on.
Okay, hang on.
So it's called NIKSEN. So I just want to say what was... First time I tried it was much harder than I anticipated. I found myself making a mental list of all the jobs I had to do, emptying the dishwasher, trying to just sit quietly without thinking about what I had to do was difficult. She ended up giving after a few minutes. And then each time she tried, so it's just about a minute. So let's all just try now for a minute.
Stopwatch.
Right? And to just not think about what we need to do. Okay. Not thinking about what we need
On
to
your
do.
marks,
Go.
get set, go. A panic attack. It's a minute. Oh my God, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I literally thought I was going to have a heart attack. Oh my God, it's the most stressful thing I've ever done.
We're going to die young because of this. Do you know this? This is really bad for us. I manage moments because I just watched
breaking
that
out now.
tree.
I'm going to have to open the door. It's so hot.
I watched that tree just go.
That's really fucked me over.
I did stop going to what I was going to make for dinner. He's actually gone outside.
Oh my God, that was so unsettling.
Somebody just said, Jasmine said we should half our output on YouTube. Thank you very much.
That's so unsettling. That's so unsettling.
Look up the article. It is in, what was it in? What was it in? Didn't say.
The Independent.
The Independent. Or look it up. NIKSEN or Dolce Far Niente, the sweetness of doing nothing. If you truly want to have a less cluttered mind, to have a better memory, to reduce your blood pressure, all these things that happen from NIKSEN. And it only has to be 5 minutes. Like she was saying, you know, she had 3 kids under 5. And she
They're
would
all in
sit
university
down,
now.
and if somebody came through the door, she would jump up because she didn't want anyone to see her just sitting down. Now that is mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the way you always say to me, is it all right if I have a bath? I'm like, why are you asking me that? It's like almost like you feel guilty.
Because the
to have a
bathroom's
bath.
padlocked and you hold the key. That's really weird. You looked
Anyway,
extremely
NIKSEN.
uncomfortable, Mark. Janine Amory, I did feel uncomfortable. I can't really believe
I
you
found
sent-
guilt coming up, so
Yeah.
that was interesting, and
Yeah.
that is bad. That's not even 1 minute.
Guilt. So Nadia sent me this just because you wanted to say Trump is an anal fisher. Is that right? Why did you want this?
I
There
just
is no
wanted that in the
story.
title, it's so funny.
Apart from Princess Diana's brother says she hated Donald Trump so much, she said he was worse than an anal fisher. And the reason this is being talked about even is because Donald Trump, in a book that I can't work out if he's written or is a part of or has contributed to, said that Princess Diana and Queen Elizabeth kiss my ass in letters.
They sucked up to him.
You're basically saying
And
they
that's
sucked up to him.
really pissed off her brother, which
Yeah.
it would me too. So he's come out and said
She thought it was an
she
anal-
thought it was an anal
Well,
fish.
worse than an
fisher.
anal fisher. Such a vivid image, isn't it?
But my God, there's some rage in that coming back, and good for him. You know, everybody tries to make money out of people, you know, her, and I just think, good for you. That was all I wanted to say, really.
All right, okay, well, there you go.
What was that? Fergie mate's first comment
know.
on the book.
Dietitians
I
attack...
don't know. That's a bit rude.
Well, no, but dietitians attack Gwyneth Paltrow's wellness diet. You ask questions sometimes about little
Just
things.
wanted to
Yeah,
click
but
on
you
it.
see pop-up things that you can't pop through to, and it's fucking annoying.
Apparently, Fergie's made her first comment on Prince Harry's memoir.
Oh, God. Yawn.
Oh, he's publishing letters sent to him over the years from the royal family.
Oh, there you go.
God, that is disgusting.
So he's doing... Oh, God.
God, bloody hell. There's no decency left anymore.
So-
Right, has anybody seen this Gwyneth Paltrow storm? So she was being interviewed for this podcast. It is funny, you have to watch it, you know, in the wellness. And the guy's interviewing her says, so what is your wellness?
Oh, can I just
What
hang
does your
on?
wellness day look like now?
Hang on. Why does everyone in the wellness sector have to talk like that?
I don't know.
Why can't they just talk normally? Right? Why do they
Zoe
all
Griffith says Gwyneth gives her
have
the
to
ick.
talk? I just want to take a javelin and thrust it through their eyes.
Sometimes she's made me laugh because sometimes I've thought, oh, are you taking the piss a bit now? Do you remember when
No.
I did my butter?
No,
Oh,
but
I should repost my
always
butter
think-
Instagram post, shouldn't
Yeah,
I?
I
did
always
ages ago.
assign to a sort of irony, but it's not there.
Yeah.
I think she's being ironic, and then you go to the story and,
Yeah,
and
she's
you look
not.
at what she said. She's not being ironic at all.
So basically,
You know, she's sorry, just quickly. She is issuing. This is unbelievable. I looked it up just before we went live. She is issuing. It's called vagina butter. It's butter that you put on sourdough, scented with her vagina.
oh, I've got to repost that picture I did of her.
No, scented with her. And do you know how they scent it? Every single cube of butter she has to wipe against her nun.
Mark, shut up. He's lying again.
terrible.
He's lying, don't worry. But anyway, so she was asked about what her wellness day looks like now, and she said that she has a very light dinner, and then she fasts until midday.
Say she farts until midday.
Fasts until midday, which we fast, but we actually have dinner. So then she has celery juice and black coffee. And then most lunchtimes she has just bone broth. She works out for an hour. And for dinner, she has I try to stick to paleo and I have vegetables.
What does that mean?
Paleo is the way Neolithic man lived.
Can I just
and
say on
ate,
this point, a
which
lot
is
of-
berries, meat, and
A
vegetables.
lot of people sort of say paleo. I'm going to eat like what's it called?
Paleo
Prehistoric man. And
he
Neolithic.
only lived till 30.
Yeah, they only lived to 24. It wasn't doing them much good, was it? Jennifer Winter says, I think it's a dangerous message for people that she's
Absolutely.
spreading. She simply does not eat enough. There's no way to beat around the bush.
This is like the old days of like the grapefruit diet and all this bullshit. Now, it's bullshit. That is disordered eating. Nobody can, sounds like anorexia, says Linda. Okay, so a bowl of clear bone broth and vegetables for dinner. How can you work out for an hour? I just want to make this really clear, right, to anyone who might think this is a great way to lose weight. What you're going to lose is loads of muscle. You're not eating anything there to build muscle. And actually, I have to say, in that video, she looks really hungry. She looks hungry. And I just think, you know, you've got a responsibility when you've got such a massive platform. You know, if that's the way that she wants to eat, fine. But don't put that out there with no thought of how vulnerable so many people are to things like this. You know, it's like these bloody Ozpic, you know, injections. People are vulnerable. We all are. You know, Mark and I, you know, we've talked before about our own disordered eating in the past, our own dysmorphia, our own like, oh, a little part of you goes, oh, you know, don't pique people's interest with something so ridiculous. It's a ridiculous way to eat.
I've just gone through what her day is. How fucking
boring. She dry brushes in the sauna for half an hour.
Oh my God, no, but I mean, in terms of like what she doesn't, I mean, it's everything she doesn't eat. And then she gets excited about soup.
Bone broth.
And then
There's not even any vegetables in there. It's just bone broth.
Mate.
Now, I love bone broth, but bone broth is the base for the chicken I'm going to put in it and the vegetables, and bone broth is great for the gut. But the mix up here of just having a bowl of bone broth, but apparently I was reading this dietitian was saying it's a very good appetite suppressant. So the first thing she has, having not eaten since 6 o'clock the night before till midday, is an appetite suppressant in bone broth.
Right, yeah.
And I think it's kind of right that people are a bit up in arms about it, because it's really important that it's balanced the other way, so that nobody actually thinks, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
I think one of the important things
You'll
to say.
binge after
I think
that,
one of the important
you'll
things to say here is
starving.
it's all right to do this. I think it's fine to do this, but it's when you start promoting it that it becomes, I think, a bit tricky.
If the
But
individual,
does anyone listen to her now? Does everyone just characterise her
it's
as a
gone
bit...
in every single paper. Our friend Jordan said it's gone crazy.
But because
over in
everyone's
LA.
doing it, or because everyone thinks she's batshit
Well,
crazy?
no, people are saying that it's crazy, but believe you me, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that thousands of people will try this. Without a doubt. Do you agree?
Try
Do you
what?
agree?
I still don't
We'll
really-
try that diet. There will be people. I bet you if you check now, bone broth sales have gone up like crazy.
Really?
I bet you.
What's her
I
star
bet
sign,
you.
asks
I
Richard
bet
and
dry
Steph.
brushes have gone up by, you know.
I reckon she might be... What do you think she might be? What star sign is Gwyneth, do you think? Could someone find out? Have a look at- Virgo. Yeah, that would be about right. Virgo. Erin Bullimore, I wish Paltrow would
Apparently
just
she's
stop.
Libra.
As a scientist, her health advice pains me. I can only imagine actual health workers feel their souls dying a little every time she opens her mouth.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many dietitians coming out, just like really.
Dearheart says, I bet she binges.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If there's anybody here today that's thinking, I'm going to try this, it's nearly summer, I'm desperate, I want to lose loads of weight, I want to look like Gwyneth Paltrow, what I can guarantee you will probably happen, highly likely will happen, is that you will be exhausted, you won't be able to do the exercise, you'll lose muscle tone, and then you'll have to binge because you haven't had enough to eat. Never mind the fact that your hair might start thinning and all the other things. That is not enough to have a healthy... You want to eat to give you energy, you know, that's what you want, because the more energized you are, the more you're moving around, the more engaged you are with people, the happier you are. That's the way to be attractive, not bone thin.
Okay, well, there you go. It sounds like a hideous regime that she's on. Hideous.
Oh, I absolutely love bone broth, don't get me wrong. And if you eat a chicken, it's like somebody said that really makes the chicken stretch. If you buy a whole chicken, cook it really slowly for hours in a slow cooker or something, that all that goodness that comes out of the bones, really good for you. You can put it in your stews and your soups, you can drink it, but don't only have that for lunch.
Now, I just want to quickly, just before we sign off, I just want to share in this topic, or this news story that landed a couple of days ago, which has really, really affected and impacted huge numbers of socially conscious, globally conscious, ecologically conscious youngsters, young adults, teenagers, children. And this is the Willow Project. I don't know if any of you...
Our children are really upset.
Well, not yet, and there's a lot of youngsters online on social media very worried about this. This is a oil drilling project in Alaska, oil and gas drilling plans that President Joe Biden has signed in or allowed to happen. Now, before we all jump on the let's attack Joe Biden, and believe me, I'm no big fan of Joe Biden, his kind of hands were tied on this. This was started and instigated and given the original sort of like free rein by Trump, not surprisingly. But this is a gas and oil drilling project that will, across 30 years, generate the equivalent of 2 million extra cars on the planet. 600 million barrels of oil will be generated over 30 years. And obviously it's happening in Alaska, part of which is within the Arctic Circle, this incredibly fragile eco sort of environment. And this has just been a sort of belly blow, really, a gut punch to so many young people who want to feel that there's some hope at the end of the rainbow, really, when it comes to the environmental issues. So if you hear about the Willow Project, if there's anyone in America, if there's any sort of way to kind of push against it, do.
There's a huge petition, actually.
Huge petition, but again, unfortunately, this is big business. Even Biden couldn't veto something that the lawyers of, is it Comco or ConocoPhillips, the company behind it, they've got lawyers all over this, and apparently what they're all saying is, well, we were going to do something 5 times as big as this, but now it's only 3 times, the size it was going to be. So if you hear people talking about the Willow Project, youngsters talking about the Willow Project, give them some time. I mean, it's not just youngsters that should be concerned.
That's what I was going to say, because it's interesting. Both our girls separately today said, are you going to do the Willow Project on Coffee Moaning? And we're like, oh, I haven't really. And, and then you dig a little deeper and they've been really upset about this. So, and, Maddie said, on TikTok and stuff, kids are like just devastated. Feeling again that where is their future? So your child might be going through all of that, really deeply affected by this, and you might not have a clue. And they might be a bit off with you, and they might just go on nothing. And it could be just because they don't feel we're as engaged as we should be, because this is their future. So we thought, we weren't on it with our kids, and so maybe...
No, and it's trending a lot online, so you will be hearing youngsters talking about it. Tana Smullen, my daughter here in Ireland, has been talking about it. She's horrified here in Ireland about it, as are all her friends. It's awful, they feel disgusted. It's about Mel W. It's about Biden's re-election. He could have stopped it if he'd wanted to.
Could he? Because we need to look into it more, because we've just sort of scanned
the inference is that he could potentially sort of postpone it, but that the lawyers are all over it. They have a right. They have a lease that they have a right to enact. So anyway,
we were coming at it from the perspective of we I get this a lot of work when I try and talk about anything to do with
environmental stuff.
Environmental stuff. It's just like, people don't really want to engage with it much of our age group, and I say, but our kids are petrified. And so often, what people say, well, why have they got their phones? It's like, well, why is that a quid pro quo?
It's ridiculous.
It's like,
because they know more.
And so I think more and more young people have stopped talking to their parents, and it is a real fear in a lot of them. Of course it is, because they're looking ahead going, well, I'm not going to have children, or I'm not going to have grandchildren. This is really their future's affected by these huge events.
And also, it's interesting, isn't it? Because, of course, the West would have you think it's only China that's creating all the problems, but no, they're also in America. Okay, so look, welcome to Susie France.
And just on one point, somebody just said they go plant-based. You know what? If the whole world dropped meat for one day a week, you don't have to go fully vegan, one day a week, it would have an incredible impact. So just think about it. If you eat meat every day, could you just miss out one day?
Would you sing Susie France's name for us?
Happy birthday
No, welcome.
Oh, welcome Susie Francis, welcome to
Susie
us.
France.
Welcome Susie France to the family guest dairy hall.
Susie France.
Susie France.
Susie France.
Susie France. And check out last week's No Name Sunday shows, Susie France. You've got hundreds of No Name Sundays Hundreds?
No Shame Day. Yeah, hundreds, literally. Well,
Of No Name
150.
Sunday shows that you can binge watch forever because everything we post. And last week I made some donuts and they were so delicious. I really want people to have a go at making them.
And there will be a members live coming this weekend with Nanny Di. Me and Nanny Di will be doing a members live this weekend. Last weekend was a little bit of a woohoo, and this weekend isn't going to be a
Is that hee hee?
Okay,
Love you
guys,
lots,
have a
like jelly
lovely
tots.
day.
Bye.